What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. Tuesday, 6 p.m. We're always right here, the Young Pro Showcase. And today you got a packed house, right? So I'm gonna bring everybody on, right? Welcome Daniel Sardine, Martavius Hillman, and Ariel Simone. So you're getting 4 for the price of 1 today. And it's gonna be a fun topic. It's gonna be a fun topic. We got a bunch of vets in the house. We got a packed. We're all ring earners. Like when our powers combined, we're better than Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
So with all this experience, what we've also experienced is some mistakes, some potholes, some things to avoid. And that's one thing I love about what we do is when you can align yourself with the right people, right? You can look back and go, hey, you know what, Mr. Hillman, right? When you turn right around the bend, avoid that pothole on the side, right? Go around that one, and you can get your curve a little bit shorter. You can get your trip a little bit shorter. So that's what we're talk about today. So if you're on today, you're going to hang out with us for the next, 30 minutes, whatever it ends up being. You might want to actually take notes on this one, right? Because I imagine that there's going to be a list of things you're going to have to look at yourself and go, have I fallen victim to that? Have I done that before? And if you have, I guarantee you some of these, because I've done them, it might cost you a year, it might cost you 2 years. You know what I mean? So you don't want to do that. You want to do that. I heard somebody say recently, 5-year plans are for losers. I want to win today. That's just some gangster stuff to say. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Great.
How are you?
Good. Doing good. So I'm gonna go out to Daniel first, right? Because he was on here a while back. I mean, this was like 2020 type stuff, like long time ago. And he was talking about. So let's, instead of jumping right into, hey, what's the top mistake? We're gonna get to that in a second. What's, if you could, do you have a story or do you have a time that's like, because I think I know what you're gonna say. Now I might be wrong, but we've talked. So what was a time where you made a mistake and how much did it cost you?
I've made a lot of mistakes.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I've made a whole ton of mistakes in my career. That's probably cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 10 years. But definitely not taking action soon enough is one of the big ones. Not taking action soon enough. My story is I started part-time while I was in college. And when I mean part-time, it was more like spare time. It was like get Performance Club done the first week and no more Legal Shield. Like that's kind of what it was. I mean, I can be transparent now, right? So that was it. But I think back now, it's like, what if for those first 5, 6, 7 years, I didn't think like that? What if I took a little bit more action? Where would my business be today if I did? Right.
Ooh, okay. So money, time, right? Could have been further down the road. Miss Simone, how about you?
Yikes. So biggest mistake that cost me the most money so far? That's the question?
Well, most money, most time, like, I don't know. Maybe it cost you, It could have cost you anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it definitely did cost me a lot. So when you start, especially building this business, it's you and you. Right? It's like you and you. And then you start, basically finding like-minded individuals that want to build with you and they have their dreams, their goals. And so you come out of what we call phase 1 activity and you start developing leaders. And I know that me not staying as diligent in prioritizing myself. I remember Mrs. Gardner said, Ariel, do you think that Michael Jordan would take himself off the court and bench himself? And I was like, no. She was like, exactly. Like that's their go-to, the GOAT, right? Top dog. And I was like, exactly. She's like, well, you benched yourself. And I don't know how much it has cost me. Like, it is the scariest thing for me to even try to monetize, like how much money I've lost when it comes to, like management, right? Like, I gotta do this Zoom and I have to talk to this person. I have to coach and I have to work through the kinks and not grouping my time more effectively. Man, listen, I don't even know. It's scary.
Yeah. I like Micah Carter. What's going on, my man? I like what he says. For me, it's probably calling back through the same leads too many times, not adding or focusing enough on fresh candidates. It's like, I want to do such a good job. I'm going to follow up, super follow up, extra follow up, but you don't have any new people coming in the front door. You're not putting any names in the top of the funnel consistently. That's good, Mr. Carter. I appreciate that. Mr. Hillman, I mean, I think out of everybody, you've been here the shortest amount of time, so you've probably not made any missteps.
I did one a day. No, seriously.
Real quick, can we just pause and pay homage to Miss Simone's starter jacket? I mean, she's bringing the 90s back today.
Low key, real quick, and then Mr. Hillman, it's all on you. I'm getting my phone repaired. The guy in the U-Break iFix is like, yo, I'll give you 100 for it right now. And I'll give the liquid glass repair. I'm like, I'm not selling my starter jacket. And it's my cousin's. I stole it, y'all. Like, it's my cousin's. Squatter's rights. He's never getting it back. Back to you, Mr. Hillman.
Oh. You know what, Mr. Lockhart, you always do that. You always put me behind people that I don't want to go behind, like Sardine and Simone, like not taking action soon enough. I did that, or I still do it. Benching myself. I'm doing it anyway. Okay. Today though, like seriously, I wasn't joking when I said I made a mistake today, and that mistake is not utilizing leadership. You know what I mean? We always hear the saying, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. But sometimes when you're doing it, you feel like you have to do it all on your own. And it's not the case, right? I had to be reminded that today, hey, man, you know, you do have an upline platinum. You do have an upline millionaire club member. You do have an upline ring runner that you can reach out to for help. You know what I'm saying? Or that you can reach out to have those conversations with corporate instead of you trying to do it by yourself. You know what I mean? So not utilizing, I don't like the word using, right? Because we're not users here, but not utilizing the leadership that we have in place. That was
yeah. So a couple things. I'll jump in here and add my 2 cents. So I actually wrote down. You started off, Daniel, and what I wrote down before we hopped on was doing as much as you can versus doing enough, right? So it's like, oh, hey, you know, if I could just hit PC and I could make, you know, whatever, $300 or I don't know, whatever the money is, right? If I could just do that. And so you try to figure out what's the least amount that I can do and hit the target. And the problem is if anything in life goes wrong, like any one thing, it's not going to happen, right? It's like, I don't know, a pandemic happens, or you know, the brakes go out on the car, or somebody gets sick, or just whatever, you know what I mean? A couple days could cost you your goals for the month, right? So instead of doing as much as you can, you're just satisfied with enough. So I like that you said that. But and then the other thing I wrote down, Mr. Hillman, was surrounding yourself with people that are quote unquote better than you, right? Or more experienced than you, or more knowledgeable than you, and you just put the cherry on top. Use them, right? Use them. So, you know, I don't know about you guys. I think we're all the same in this one. I'm like looking around in the conversations that we've had before, that, you know, we're all like, maybe not type A necessarily. Miss Simone is for sure. But it's like, you know, give us the ball. We're going to get it done. Like, if it is to be, it's up to me. I don't need anybody. Just right. But, you know, like you said, it's like you could reach out to somebody and it could just go so much easier, right? Instead of trying to knock down the door, right? Somebody has the key and they could just come along and open it up. Right. So
Also,
anyway,
I want to drop kick that door.
Drop kick the door.
I don't need a key.
don't need a key.
You know how many times I've been locked out of my house as a kid, and my mom was like, "If you don't find a way in, you're gonna be stuck there until I get there."
Did you have a secret window that was open?
No, my mom didn't play that.
No.
I stayed at a friend's house until my mama got home.
So I had 3 younger sisters, and when I was like, I don't know, 19, 20, something like that. You know, I remember coming home because I worked second shift, and I would come home and I had a key, but our deadbolt didn't, like, there was no key for the deadbolt. We lived in the country, and they would lock the deadbolt and it'd be like midnight when I got off, and I couldn't get in the house, and I had a key. So I'd literally have to go to their room and pound on the window. And every single time, like the whole house, the lights would go on, the girls would start screaming, and it was just me trying to get in the house.
Listen, because what people don't understand is you really gotta like understand that, Josh, you were about that life. Like, for you to have a deadbolt lock on your door, people don't know your story, okay? Like,
what does that mean?
Listen, like, I know you when you moved to Charlotte, then back to Detroit. Like, people do not understand. It was like Josh was last kid, get ready to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. One time, never mind. Never mind. That's not important. It's not important. We're here for business. We're here to help people.
I'm just saying, if you didn't have to break into your house once or twice, then you never had a life.
Yeah. Or your car. Your car counts too.
Or your car.
All right. So let's get practical, right? So we said, hey, do as much as you can, not just enough, right? So like, what does that mean? I was talking to a teammate today. He's got a goal for the end of the month, which I'm sure we all have some sort of goal for the end of the month. And somebody jump in here on this one, right? Well, let's just say executive director gets down at the end of the month. You're like, I don't know. These numbers, they're looking pretty big. I still got a little ways to go. I don't know if I can do it. Right. And then you start going, I don't know. Maybe I can. I'm not sure. Has anybody ever had this talk inside their head before? Miss Simone, can you? I have a thing like that I've worked out in my own head, but I'm sure like you're a consistent executive director, but I'm sure there's a few months where it's been pretty tight, right? What's that two-part question? What's kind of like the inside talk going when it doesn't look like it's going to happen, and then what's like the practical side of it, of like what the workflow looks like that last time when it's like crunch time?
Yeah, so it's funny because I know both sides of it, right? Like being qualified, ED, being qualified, senior director, like, you know, and really when we say make the decision, it's not for the purpose of just the universe bringing you things. It's so that you're not in and out of that state of maybe not. Like once you've decided, it's like, okay, I know where I stand. And then also you have to decide whether it's all you or whether that's coming through with the teammates and the builders that you're running with. Like I made a decision, especially when going for executive director, I had to ask myself, who's running with me? And if there's nobody running with me at this point in time, then that's fine, but I'm running with me, right? And so that's the conversation too. So it's 2 parts, like decide so that you can know what you're gonna do. And then 2, who's running with me? And you as a leader, we have to be conscientious of people are where they are. And I think that's something even new that I've grown into. Like I have grown into this space because I was tyrannical. Like it was crazy when it came to qualifying. It was like, we're getting it done. Don't go to sleep. Get the preem. Like I used to be like that. And then I said, Ariel, you have joggers, walkers, you have curlers, joggers, runners. You know, what does that look like? And are you going to burn people out? Or are you going to serve people to their capacity and what they need to get done? So know that you make the decision. It's your decision. It's not for everybody else. it is for you and your qualification, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I would say one more. It's like you said, I remember times where I was really close and I missed it, and then times when I was close and I hit it. And the times that I hit it, it really nothing else was different other than I actually believed that I could do it. Like I like you said, I made the decision and I said, I can do it. I believe that I can do it. And so my actions backed up the doing. And the times where I didn't hit it, I was like, well, I'm going to try my best. And, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And
what allows you to believe you could do it? Because for me, I got to roadmap it down to like -50, -100.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta see, somebody said recently, I was talking to him, like, I got a pretty big goal right now. And I have a plan, right, that I believe will work, right? It's going to take some time, but I believe that it will get me to the end of the road. Now, other times haven't had a plan or I've had a part of a plan. And at some point, right. So like somebody said recently, it's like, you got to sell the dream because this is an opportunity. You got to sell the dream. I was like, well, what does that even mean? What is that? Does that just mean hype? We're going to get rich. It's like, if you don't have a plan that you can believe in, that's just wishing. That's not a dream. You got to have some sort of like written thing. Like you said, map it out and go, yeah, I buy that. I buy that, So, and we've heard all kinds of analogies, right? If you're in Georgia and I said, make it to California, and you're like, well, how do I get there? Well, just believe it. You can do it. You're like, you're crazy. So I think that's it.
Josh, I got a question for you. What was the biggest mistake that you made that cost you the most money or time?
Oh, okay. We don't have that much time today. We don't have that much time. Here's a big one, right? So I wrote down a few things. I'll call it changing lanes too much, right? So we have a lot of different avenues in what we do, right? You can market services. You can take this to companies. You can take it to small businesses. You can do social media. You can do all kinds of things. And especially when I was younger in the business, I'd get some good looking dude like Daniel Sardine would come to town, be like, this is how I made a bunch of money. And I'd be like, that's what I need to do. I need to be doing what that guy's doing. And then the next month, Martavius Hillman will come to town. He'd be like, man, I just crushed some business to business. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to go make 50 calls a day every day. And I do that. And then Miss Simone will come to town and be like, man, I have the biggest and best team. We have the most fun at the house. And I'm like, oh, I got it. And every time you change a lane, you start over again. Like every time, even if like the four of us, right? Like we're ring earners, we're making it happen. We have our thing that we're like really good at. But if me and Ariel change lanes, like maybe we're not starting from zero, but it's pretty darn close, right? It's like if anybody out there saw the I don't know if you guys watch UFC at all. Conor McGregor fought this past weekend. Anybody see that? You see that, Daniel? That was an upset, man. I mean, I don't know. Like he had some ring rust was the point, right?
It was yeah.
Yeah. He got cleaned. If anybody saw that, Mikhail Hancock, did you watch that fight? Anyway, my point is, here's a guy who's set records, biggest star, all this money. You know what I mean? Like there is no bigger name in combat sports. Maybe Floyd Mayweather, but that's like it, right? And he hasn't fought in a year. He changed lanes. He didn't go to his normal training camp. He's been doing rich people stuff, hanging out on yachts and doing all this stuff. And he comes back and he's just not as sharp, right? Somebody throws a punch at him and his reaction time is just that much slower and it cost him the fight. And it's like that in this business. And that mistake cost me years, right?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like I even think about it from my perspective. When they were like, choose your major, choose your minor.
Yeah.
I just chose a major And my minor are the people that come into business with me that want to do B2B. I'll help them. That's the time that like I devote to the minor, because, and then also being honest with yourselves. I feel like that's something that costs me money that maybe I can't quantify, but sometimes I wasn't honest with myself. Like, what do I actually want to do? What is life actually, what do I want it to look like? You know, like, am I following this mold because somebody told me to, or is this something that I thoroughly enjoy doing? Like, I could never, like, I hate nowadays, I hate cold calling. There was a day back in the day when I was like, you know what, I can knock on every door. I can cold call everybody. I can do that. Like, I don't want to do that. So, and like, I'm not going to focus my energy and my attention. But I tried that for like a year of just doing what I had to do to try to make sense of it all and figure it out. Like, no, I like developing people. So I just stay in that lane.
Yeah.
And you know, on that same tip, I will tell you a mistake on that same platform of changing lanes is being too focused in one lane, right? I wanted to do group. I didn't care about networking until what Mike Tyson say, everybody have a plan until they get hit in the mouth. COVID hit me in the mouth in March. All my groups canceled. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know how to do the networking side because I was so focused on this one lane that I like you said, I didn't choose a minor. And even when I recruited someone that wanted to network, I didn't try to train them because I didn't want to do it. I put them off to someone else and I kept it moving, right? So, like, I'm just being honest. We talk about mistakes, right? Don't make these mistakes. So, I'm saying that because when I look at if I hit the ring on networking, not on B2B. Can you imagine if I would have did both? Would I have gotten the ring earlier? So don't take what Mr. Lockhart and Ms. Simone is saying by saying, hey, you know, don't learn B2B. Don't learn networking. Just pick it and stay in one lane. Don't do that. That's a mistake too. I'm certified in CDL. I don't focus on it, but I know how, if someone want to get the plan, I can sell it to them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm B2B certified, right? Meaning if someone want to allow me to come in and talk to the employees, I can. You see what I'm saying? So dibble and dabble, but again, pick your major, pick your minor.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that. Sorry, Mr. Lockhart. I was just going to say, I'm glad you said that, Mr. Hillman, because I've been to certifications, not just once, not just twice. I go with my organization to B2B certifications. Like, I've done group enrollments before, but it's like, I'm glad that you said that because it's very true. I'm well educated. I know how to do it. I just opt into one division. So very true. And I'm CDL certified as well. So absolutely like that. Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
Don't leave money on the table.
What's that?
So don't leave money on the table.
Yeah. I will say, I think I went 5 years before I was CDL certified, but I had a guy on my team and I'd always give them to him. But I actually wrote two CDLs last month. Yeah.
I went 5 days without being CDLP certified. That was the first certification I got. it was the next class. I went to it.
Yeah. You hear me? And this is why. Like, y'all are such urchins, aka learners. And I'm like, stay out of your back office. Don't do that. No.
Look, I signed up on Monday. I was in my fast start class on Thursday, and I was in a CDLP class on Saturday.
That stressed me out. I can't.
And then I went to B2B the next month. Oh yeah. Miss Elvis always said, if there's a $50 on the table and a $100 bill on the table, which one do you pick up?
Both.
Pick up both.
And then pick up the table and sell it.
Might as well.
I mean, I think Martavius, what you're saying is in simple form, figure out how to either recruit a lot and sell a little, or sell a lot, recruit a little in some kind of combination, and then, you know, stick with it.
And don't drive yourself crazy. Stay happy in the process. Like, that is my main thing as well, because when you feel like your anxiety is picking up, or you're like, defer to what you like best. Like, always, because the anxiety will make you feel crazy.
Here's the thing. If you're recruiting, even if you decide to recruit a lot, sell a little, right? Still know how to have that conversation with a HR director, or still know how to get in touch, like Mr. Lockhart said, utilizing your assets, your tools that we have here in Legal Shield, know how to get in touch with a field trainer. By the way, go to LS Engage on the resources on the group enrollment. It'll say field trainers. Click it. Anyway, get in touch with a field trainer, right? Like, don't count yourself out. I counted myself out for networking. When Mr. Edwards recruited me, I said, listen, I've tried these type of things that I just believe in the service. All I want to do is sell the service. Yeah. I counted myself out. I didn't care. The people I recruited before April of 2020 was people that reached out to me, was like, yo, what are you doing? I want to do the same thing. Okay. But they was also too scared to go into groups and talk in front of people. Mm-hmm. So guess what I did? I passed it on to somebody else because that's all I knew how to do. I wish I would have been coachable and listened to Mr. Edwards when he said, listen, do both. Yeah. Still invite people to the, at the time, briefings, now Zoom. Still invite people to the Zooms. But also take a few, an hour or so, right? You know, you see how I keep flashing it, Mr. Hancock, you know? I'm with the left hand, only the right one.
he's pulling a Miss Simone.
Right. Okay, I'm done. That was a big mistake for me. That wasn't my biggest mistake, but that was a huge mistake for me.
I haven't opened it yet, but
that's your 100.
Let's see if you can.
That's your 100K.
Yeah. With a little guy. Look at that guy. He's all happy. Look at that guy.
So happy. That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So, I think what I'm hearing you say is just simple, right? Know the business you're in. You don't have to do it all, but you should know it. You should know where to go to. You should be there's this old. It's kind of old. I'm gonna look up what year this movie was made. I mean, it's at least 90s. If anybody has seen this movie, and this is honor system, so if you lie, you're gonna get kicked out of the business. Right? We're gonna axe you. No, I mean we can't do that. But has anybody ever seen the movie Quigley Down Under?
Hell no. I mean, heck no.
Right there. I'm waiting for some. It's gonna be like Mikkel Hancock, right? I don't know. So there's this old movie, and it's like this Western movie, and the guy, he's like this sharpshooter, in Australia, and can hit like 800 yards away, 1,000 yards away with a flintlock black powder rifle. It's a good movie. Anyway, Venus says yes. Venus. You know what I'm talking about. And at the end of the movie, he has to do a quick draw gunfight. Mikkel's seen it. Of course, I knew Mikkel would back me up on that.
Spell that. Quigley Down Under.
Quigley Down Under. I'm gonna watch it this weekend, maybe. So anyway, he has to do a quick draw with this guy. In the whole movie, he never uses pistols, and he shoots the guy. He kills the bad guy. He's the good guy. And Tom Selleck, that's right, Venus, with the big stash. And the guy goes, I thought you're no good with pistols. He said, I never said I couldn't use them. I just said I preferred a rifle.
That's
dangerous. You got to be dangerous. All right. Hey, Venus, if you'll PM me on Facebook, I got a gift for you for
I'm so old.
Throwing in there the Tom Selleck reference.
It's the VHS of the movie.
VHS.
I'm about to look this up quickly now.
All right, Miss Simone, back to you.
It came out in 1990. It was out before I was born. So
90, yeah, that's 31.
The worst part is I almost spelled it right.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Everybody go watch it. There we go. Look at that power mustache. I mean, he's probably got creatures living in that mustache.
I was gonna say, it's like his phone would be up there. Like, that's crazy.
Venus said she have the VHS, so she wanted it in DVD form. Blu-ray, please.
Yeah.
That thing. Oh my God. Well, I was gonna say, this too, family, and you guys can add to this. Like when we were talking about being honest with yourself, but also being able to share responsibility in a sense of using the talent that you have found or recruited or brought on board and truly using the organization at large. So this year, I love celebrating people. I just am not good at implementing the celebration, if that makes sense. So the team nights, the culture building, the people who know how to make spreadsheets look beautiful. Like, how are we utilizing the people that we bring into our fold so that it's not just all about income, recruiting. What's the glue that keeps them here? I know that that's something that costs me, right? Because for example, I use my mother for B2B a lot, right? For the business, I use Miss Joseph for a lot of, my 3-ways, Miss Antoine, Mr. Lewis, but also for those soft edge points. How are we doing that? And I know that I don't even know how to monetize the loss on that. So, yeah.
One thing I also share, kind of wrapping what Martavius was sharing also, is knowing your business. I mean, in 2020, I opened up a 300-man group that just kind of fell in my lap, right? That was, I don't go looking for them, but they show up, right? So when they show up, you do it, right? And just this past week, I talked to a broker. She told me she handles like $33 million of policies. And she's like, I like this. And I was able to have that conversation, and she should be coming on board within the next week or so. But like, if you don't know the business, then you don't know how to have those conversations, right? So know the business, but also with that $33 million, like some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, Mr. Sardine's about to be rich. And that's a mistake I've made in the past. I'm not trying to think of the word.
It's like, oh my, it's like, we say don't sell it, like, you just never know who's going to actually build, who's going to be coachable, who's going to work the business right away. So don't be super excited for a stud that you think you're about to bring into the business, or a link or a leader versus a link. So yeah. Is that what you're trying to say, Mr. Sardine?
Because I'm pretty sure Mr. Edwards thought I was a dud.
Like, forget this guy.
Yeah, I switched it. I was like, stud, I mean links, leaders.
Loser. Yeah. So it made me think of a time, Mr. Sardine, not to, I can hear my wife in the back of my head saying like, don't be that guy and try to one up people. But no, I did. One time I was at the gym, and because I had sat down and showed this guy the membership, he had zero interest. But a month later, he came up to me and introduced me to his dad, and I got a 1,200-man group account at the gym working out.
That's crazy.
So you never know.
Talk to everyone.
Mr. Sardine's story better. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he probably made more money on his than I did mine, to be fair.
But talk to everyone. Like, really, talk to everyone.
Yeah. So
like judging people, like when you're out and about, prejudging and not talking to everybody.
Right. Prejudging.
Or like fear getting in the way. And so I would say this, like that costs me too. Like when I'm like, dag, I should have found a way. Let me go back to the gas station. I remember like looking crazy, like running back into a store. Like, I know I look crazy, but just because I have to get it done. So yeah, I would say that's it was Nick Odom. We were in Michael's because I needed a planner or something for my planner. And there was a guy that was searching for a planner, and Nick literally alley-hooped it to me. And I was just like, he was like, oh, I think she knows what the planners are. And I was like, yeah, they're over there. And just literally let the guy walk by. And Nick was like, really?
You call yourself a professional?
You know how he would do.
So kind of a theme that everybody's touched on, and I had one more that I had written down. Big mistake here is not actively trying to get better, right? You all made the same face at the same time. So it's like, you come to the calls, you do the stuff, whatever you're doing, you're out, you're talking to people, you're prospecting, you come, but at like some point, like, I don't know, I've done this with a bunch of things, right? Like I have a stupid human trick. I like to beatbox, right? I like to beatbox, and I watch YouTube videos, and I got like here, if there's a scale, like, here's the lowest, here's the best. I'm like right here. And to get any better, like, I actually have to like set aside time aside and practice. And I'm not going to. So I'm not going to get any better. Right. And people do that in the business. They're like, well, you know, I've been here for a year, I've been here for 2 years or whatever time frame, and it's just not working. It's like, well, yeah, but you're working with the same skill set that you had when you started, which is kind of terrible. Like, and you talked, Miss Simone, about the soft skills, right? Like, if you sit down and I sit down, just seemingly, let's say you're brand new, you know what I mean? And my ratios are just off the charts and yours is like very low. And you're like, well, we're doing the same thing. We're talking to the same people, same product, same everything. Why is it's all the intangible stuff, right?
It's the art. It's the art behind the science.
Yeah. So give me an example. Have you guys, you know, what would be something where you were like, yes, I actually worked on this thing and saw it get better? Like, in, you know what I mean? It was something I like consciously did.
Yeah, I have to, if y'all don't mind, I have to say, personal development. I think, Mr. Lockhart, you and I was doing one of these Tuesday showcases, and I talked about, you know, you can read a book all day long, but if you don't actively pursue what you're reading, what's the difference? I've always read. I've been a reader since I was 16 years old. Thanks to my mom for putting a book in my hand when I was 16 years old called A Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And once I finished that, she put The Richest Man in Babylon in my hand, the Think and Grow Rich. She put The Magic of Thinking Big. So thanks to my mom, I've always been a reader. 2019, I joined Legal Shield. I was still reading books. I believe in personal development, but I was reading a book with a job mentality. Right? 2020 came, COVID-19 hit. I had done read Who Moved My Cheese 17 times because I had 17 jobs before I was 21, right? So, but this time when I read Who Moved My Cheese in April, it hit different. Yeah. And in May, I read another book. It hit different. And I wanted to start tracking my thought processes, right? I stopped looking at news at the age of 18, thanks to my mom putting me on a 90-day stretch of saying no TV, no radio. So I haven't listened to a radio in my car.
She knew 2020 was coming.
Right. But like, I wanted to start tracking what my thoughts were when I woke up in the morning before I went to bed, and to see the difference. Like, I literally have the book behind me of what my thoughts were in May and June versus what it was in August and October or September. And to see the shift now when I read a book, it's no longer reading saying, you know, how can I get better? It's more of what can I implement?
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. Sorry.
That's
good. Keep on going.
And he dropped it. No, that was good. That was good. Either you guys have any input on this one? Actively getting better.
Yeah, so actively getting better. You know, I'm really big on implementation. Like, that is my thing. It's something that's like, if I'm not implementing, am I really changing? Am I really growing? Am I really doing? And I think I was laughing with my best friend because we call them master learners. Like, we have a culture of master learners. We want to sit through seminars. We want to go to events. We want to this, that, and the third, but we don't want to change our lifestyle because it's difficult. And it's something that we have to step outside of ourselves and like revamp what life really looks like. But for me, I think that I'm getting feedback. Sorry, y'all. Do y'all hear that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So for me, I recognize that with the art, I needed more PD. So Mr. Hillman, what you're saying is personal development. I really want to add to that. It wasn't just 10 pages a day. As I started to grow leaders, I had to recognize that it's like driving a car. You go somewhere, right? And you're driving the vehicle maybe 10 minutes down the road each day, right? But now we're taking our car an hour drive. So when you're a leader that's developing leaders, how many times do you think you have to stop in at the gas station in order to refuel? And so I recognize that with my personal development, I'm like, why am I on edge? Why am I ready to snap? Like, why am I aggravated? Why am I like, I told you this? Like, and so I had to take myself out of a space of, science, and recognize that I needed the art of saying, what is a coach, Ariel? How do you not judge? How do you make people feel like it's their idea? How do you make people want to stay with you all day and build? And I said, oh, it's a different level of how much personal development I'm spending time on. So the 10 pages a day is the basis, yes, or is the basic, the foundation, but I find myself in personal development in Drive Time University, at least like now, when I was on the road like 3 hours a day, I'm engulfed in it. And it's because you also need your fuel. I'll tell you guys this, my radio on my Toyota went out in October because the battery replacement shut the whole system down. And I remember I was set up an appointment to go ahead and get it fixed. But within the 2 weeks that it wasn't fixed, I was listening to more PD than I've ever listened to in my life. So I drove around with my Corolla where I could have gotten it fixed under warranty. I drove without the radio working because I knew I needed to implement a new habit. And this is when I first started building this business in, I want to say 2018. And for about a year and a half, I had no radio. I just literally had personal development, and it changed the way that I was able to operate. And just to show you guys how it comes full circle, one of my leaders was talking to me yesterday, and he said, I was talking to my manager over at my job, and we were talking about, coaching people where they're willing and they actually want to do it. He was like, well, my mentor, she got a way of talking to you, and, she'll talk to you and she'll make it feel like it's your idea. And we laughed about it. He was like, and she leads you down the road and you like, yeah, I want to do this. She's like, really? He's like, yeah. And it was a moment of such appreciation for him to share that with me, because I remember asking Mr. Self, it was October. And I said, Mr. Self, how do you step into coaching someone? And at the end of the conversation, they feel amazing about it and they want to change. And he was like, first of all, I don't judge. And I always ask, how do I get the person to their goal that they told me that they want to do in the first place, and how do I serve them? And I was only able to get there with massive amounts of PD for the art of this business. Oh, yeah.
That's good. That's really good. Mr. Sardine?
And one thing I kind of steal from Ariel there, and something that I have implemented in times of my business, something I need to re-implement in my business, is creating those habits, right? One of the big things that helped me kind of get my energy up, get my day started, get my goals going, was to something I use Tony Robbins priming. And it's basically, visualizing, being grateful, setting goals, right? And just preparing for your day, but in a positive way. So like if you're writing down your goals every morning, like it's hard to go throughout the day without going towards those goals. Like if it's just hard, right? If you say this is what I'm going to do, and then you go every day and you don't do anything towards that, then no one can help you, right? So that's one of the things that's definitely helped me in creating that habit, right? Putting it on your calendar, having something scheduled. That way you don't miss a day of doing that.
Man, that's good. That's good. That's good. So, and we could go on for days, right? I'm thinking of other stuff, but I hope everybody got value out of this. This is something that if you want to come back and watch, a couple places that you can go. Of course, right where you're at on Facebook, you can share this. You can tag somebody down below in the comments section. This will also be up on the Young Pros YouTube later in the week. So if you want to, go on over to YouTube, type in Young Pros Official. You can subscribe to the page. When that pops up, you can share. And we just dropped another video from one of our top recruiters in the entire company, Mr. Edmund Hunter, looking super fresh, talking about, do you really want it and how bad do you want it? So you got to go check that out. And of course, the same video is on our Instagram at Young Pros Official, or specifically at @LS_Young Pro. All right. So we'll see everybody tomorrow night on our training call, right? It is closeout week. And what do? We close out. We close out strong. So appreciate you guys hopping on, for everybody hanging out with us. Make sure, don't just keep all the information to yourself. Make sure to share it with somebody else. And we'll see you next week.